So with my family and friends, I've noticed something. Most guys seem to run into the same issue. They end up with a woman who doesn't treat them right. Maybe she's disrespectful, unfaithful, or just using them for money. Now, if this sounds like your situation, if you keep finding yourself in relationships where you're getting cheated on, used, or disrespected, I'm here to break it down for you. I'll explain why this keeps happening and how you can stop it from happening again. So stick around. So here's the deal. A lot of guys will tell you she lied to me from the start. She seemed so perfect, but it was all a lie. But let me tell you something straight up. Women don't lie. Seriously, it's true. They might not always speak the whole truth, but they always show you who they really are. Every woman who's ever hurt you, used you, or taken advantage of you, she was waving those red flags right from the beginning. You just chose to ignore them. Here's the deal with women. They meet a guy and they start giving off these red flags, but not always in a super obvious way. It could be how she dresses. Maybe she's dressing pretty provocatively. Or it could be her behavior, like she's really open about sex or talks a lot about her ex, calling him toxic or whatever. Here's the thing. When your partner starts tearing down your self-esteem, it really messes with your head. And what's worse, they don't seem to care. I mean, imagine hearing stuff like, "How could you be so dumb?" Or "Can't you ever get anything right?" With that nasty look on their face and all that negative body language. It's downright disrespectful, man. And that's a big red flag you shouldn't ignore. If this is happening in your relationship all the time, you gotta bounce. It's a clear sign they don't respect you. So imagine you're watching a movie with her, right? And then a scene comes up that reminds her of her ex and she starts talking about it. That's pretty normal, isn't it? But if the woman you're seeing spends a ton of time trashing her ex, going on and on about how they mistreated her and played the victim, that's a major red flag. It screams she's not over them yet, or if she really was abused, she hasn't healed from it. Now here's another thing to watch out for. Is she with you just to make her ex jealous? Keep an eye out for any signs of that, especially on her social media. If you get even a whiff of it, man, it's time to cut ties. Trust me on that. Whatever it is, she's giving you glimpses of who she really is right from the start. Like maybe you notice how she handles being a parent. She might not even have kids, but she doesn't seem to prioritize them in her life. Or maybe she's kept another guy away from his kids, and you're thinking you'll swoop in and be the hero stepdad. But the truth is, she's showing you a pattern of denying men access to their kids if she's not feeling them. And if you think you're somehow going to be exempt from that, buddy, you're fooling yourself. These women, they're waving all their red flags right in front of the guys they're with. And you know what? They're choosing the guys who let them get away with the most crap. So here's the deal for you as a guy dealing with a woman who's got a bunch of red flags. You gotta lay down some boundaries. Because here's the thing. A guy who's got clear boundaries will only end up with a woman who doesn't have all those red flags. It's like they're a perfect match. She's not doing too much and he's not putting up with too much. They just click. But a woman loaded with red flags? She's only gonna go for a guy with low self-esteem. She'll pick the dude who doesn't know how to set boundaries, doesn't know how to spot those red flags, and can't stand up for himself. That's who she's gonna go for, every time. Let's break this down. If you're a guy with low self-esteem, who values the connection more than the respect you deserve, you're setting yourself up to be walked all over, cheated on, and disrespected by women. A woman can spot a guy with low self-esteem when he's overly impressed by her looks. Like he's all, "Oh my God, she's so hot. She's got 1 million followers on Instagram." He's just blinded by her beauty, and she becomes this untouchable prize that he puts up on a pedestal. But when a guy is that taken with a woman's looks, she starts to hold this power over him. Here's the thing. Even the most drop-dead gorgeous woman will go for a guy who's not exactly a 10 if he's not all googly-eyed over her looks. But a woman who's not exactly a knockout? She'll start disrespecting boundaries and pushing limits with a guy who's all starry-eyed over her beauty. To her, it's like a power move because she knows she doesn't have to try too hard to impress him. When you're with a woman and you're not exactly swimming in experience with beautiful ladies, they pick up on that real quick. And once they sniff out that lack of experience, they start thinking they can push your boundaries, disrespect you, maybe even cheat on you. Why? Because they figure you're not going to walk away. They reckon you won't find anyone better looking. That's how they clock a guy's low self-esteem. When a woman acts like her looks are the bomb and a guy's totally into her because of that, sure, she might be stunning, but looks alone ain't gonna hold a relationship together. He's not sticking around just for her looks. She's got to bring more to the table than just appearance and sex if she wants to keep him interested. If she figures out that her looks are all he cares about, if she can just flash a smile and bat her eyelashes and he's back in her corner after every fight, every time she disrespects him, then she knows she's got him wrapped around her finger. It's like a walk in the park for her. She doesn't even have to try. And that's the first red flag right there. Here's another sign that your self-esteem might be on the low side. You don't set boundaries. What I mean is, she does something disrespectful, you know it, but you're too scared to speak up about it. You just want to keep things calm and avoid conflict. But here's the thing. Guys who prioritize keeping the peace over keeping their own respect are always going to end up losing that woman. Listen, if you're getting hit with lines like, "How could you be so dumb?" or "Can't you do anything right?" and she's throwing nasty looks and negative vibes your way, you've got every reason to feel disrespected. That's a major red flag in a woman, and you shouldn't put up with it. If this kind of behavior is happening a lot in your relationship, it's time to bounce. It's a clear sign she doesn't respect you. Look, I'm not saying you gotta go off the deep end and start screaming at her every time she messes up. That's definitely not what I'm getting at. But what I am saying is you gotta make it clear that her behavior isn't cool with you. You gotta speak up and let her know. And if she keeps crossing that line, even after you've told her time and time again, you don't gotta keep repeating yourself. You just gotta step back and remove yourself from the situation. Instead of going in circles, trying to force her to see things your way and respect you, you just gotta respect yourself enough to walk away. Because here's the thing. If she realizes you won't stand up for yourself and leave when you need to, she's gonna lose all respect for you. She'll know you're not going anywhere, and she'll keep pushing those boundaries further and further with every argument. So here's the deal. If she realizes that when she crosses your boundaries, you're gonna pull back, she'll start to straighten up. But here's where a lot of guys mess up. When a woman crosses their boundaries, maybe she cheats or disrespects them. Instead of standing up for themselves, they end up rewarding that bad behavior. They might beg her to stay or buy her gifts, thinking it'll fix things. But all they're doing is showing her that she can get away with anything. She learns, oh, I can cheat on you, and you'll still pay my bills, or I can disrespect you, and you'll still chase after me to apologize. It's like a free pass for her to keep disrespecting you even more. You gotta have boundaries, man, and not reward that kind of behavior. Now let me break this down with an example that's straight out of real life. So picture this. You make plans for dinner with her, right? But then she comes back and suggests lunch instead. Now a lot of guys, they get all worried they might miss out, so they just go along with it. But here's the move. You gotta communicate your standards. You could say something like, "Hey, why don't we reschedule for a night when you're free? I'd prefer dinner." It might feel like you're risking losing your chance, but in her eyes, you're just showing that meeting up with her isn't so important that you'd settle for lunch. It's all about setting your standards and letting her know you're not gonna settle for anything less. Now let's say you're like, "Hey, this Friday I've got tickets for this event. Wanna join?" And she hits you with that classic, "Can I let you know? I'm still figuring things out." Man, a lot of girls pull that move. But you don't have to play along. Just respond with, "You know what? I can see this week might not work for you. Let's plan it for another time." Take that offer off the table. Because if you're not into wishy-washy behavior, if you're not cool with a girl downgrading your plans, then don't give her the chance. Just take the offer away. Let her know she's not some big prize for you, that she can't just do whatever she wants. You're a guy with boundaries who respects himself. Now let's talk about why you might struggle with setting boundaries with these women. Chances are, it goes back to your childhood. If you're having issues with women not respecting you and you find it hard to set boundaries, there's a good chance you had a mom or a mother figure who didn't give you enough love, was inconsistent with it, or didn't let you be yourself. One of those things probably left a mark on you. Let's unpack this. Because you didn't get that unconditional love and support from a woman when you were growing up, you kind of got this idea that you gotta earn love, beg for respect, and even try to buy someone's affection. It's like you're attached to the idea that this is just how things are supposed to be. You never saw what it's like to have a woman who cares about you, asks if you're hungry, offers to help, or apologizes when she messes up. That kind of stuff just wasn't part of your childhood, and now you're carrying that into adulthood. But here's the thing. If you don't recognize that pattern in yourself and break that habit, you're just going to keep repeating it. And the more you try to desperately cling to this woman, the more you're going to lose her, and it's going to get uglier and uglier. It's not going to magically get better, man. You got to break that cycle. You gotta try to be a little more assertive to protect yourself from being manipulated. Assertive communication is all about speaking up for yourself in a calm, respectful, and anxiety-free way. It's about setting boundaries, dealing with conflicts, and looking out for your own interests in a mature and effective manner. When you're assertive, you're not just learning some handy phrases to use in tough situations. You're also developing the confidence and mindset to stand up for yourself with courage. We've already made a video on how to be assertive as a man, and you can find the link in the description below. So if you're thinking, oh, she will change, she's just been through some stuff, I'm not saying you shouldn't forgive people. But what I am saying is, set your boundaries and make it clear there are consequences for crossing them, instead of rewarding disrespectful behavior. If you keep that in mind, chances are you'll attract and keep a higher quality partner, and you'll become a better person yourself. Thanks for tuning in.